My son left me alone. My name is Margaret Wilson. I am 59 years old. I live alone in a small, quiet house in Brighton, a town near the sea. The house is not big, but it is full of memories. Every wall, every room, every small corner reminds me of my past. 8 years ago, my husband died after a long illness. His name was Peter. He was a kind and gentle man. After he died, the house became very silent. No more laughter, no more shared meals, no more warm conversations at night, only me and my thoughts. I have only one child, my son, Michael. When Michael was young, he was very loving. He always stayed close to me. He used to hold my hand when we walked outside. He used to tell me everything about his day. But life changes people. Many years ago, Michael moved to Canada. At first, he called me often. He told me about his new job, his new life, and his dreams. Later, he got married. His wife's name was Emma. They had 2 children together. I was happy for him. I truly was. But slowly his calls became less frequent. Days became weeks. Weeks became months. Sometimes I would sit by the phone for hours hoping it would ring, but it stayed silent. Every morning I wake up early. I open the window and look at the street. I watch people going to work, children going to school, and neighbors talking to each other. Then I close the window and return to my quiet life. I clean the house even when it is already clean. I cook simple meals even when I am not hungry. I sit in my chair and look at old photo albums. In those photos, I see a different life, a happy life, a life full of love. I see Michael as a small boy smiling and laughing. I see my husband standing next to me, strong and proud. Sometimes I smile and sometimes I cry. Michael sends money from time to time. He says it is to help me, but I do not need money. I need my son. Sometimes he calls and says, "Mother, I will come soon." Each time my heart fills with hope, but he never comes. Still, I wait because a mother never stops waiting. One cold afternoon, something unexpected happened. I was sitting near the window when I heard a knock on the door. At first, I thought I imagined it. No one ever visits me, but then I heard it again. My heart started beating faster. I slowly stood up and walked to the door. When I opened it, I froze. It was Michael. My son was standing there right in front of me. For a moment, I could not speak. I could not move. Then my eyes filled with tears. I reached out and touched his face just to be sure he was real. He smiled, and in that moment, I felt alive again. I hugged him tightly. I did not want to let go. He came inside the house. Everything suddenly felt warm again. I quickly went to the kitchen and made tea. My hands were shaking, but my heart was full. We sat together and talked for a long time. He told me about his life in Canada. He said his wife Emma was kind and caring. He said the children were growing fast. I listened carefully, trying to remember every word. Then his voice became softer. He told me that he missed me. He said he worried about me living alone. He looked around the house and said it was too old. Then he told me something that surprised me. He wanted me to go with him to Canada. He said I should not live alone anymore. He said I would be safer and happier with him. I did not answer immediately. I looked around my house. This was not just a house. It was my life. I was born here. I got married here. I raised my son here. I said goodbye to my husband here. How could I leave all of that behind? But Michael kept talking. He said I would have my own room. He said I would see my grandchildren every day. He said Emma also wanted me to come. That night, I could not sleep. I sat on my bed and looked at the old photos again. I asked myself again and again, should I stay or should I go? In the morning, Michael spoke again. He said we should sell the house. He said I did not need it anymore. He said the money would help me start a new life in Canada. I looked into his eyes. I wanted to trust him. He was my son. So I said yes. Everything happened very quickly after that. The house was sold, all the memories gone in a moment. I gave the money to Michael. I packed my clothes and a few personal things. I kept the old photos with me. We went to the airport together. My heart was heavy, but I also felt hope. I believed that a new chapter of my life was about to begin. At the airport, everything felt big and confusing. So many people, so many voices, so much noise. Michael asked me to sit on a chair. He said he would bring a wheelchair for me because the airport was too big. I trusted him. I smiled and told him to be careful. He walked away. I sat and waited. 10 minutes passed. I looked around, expecting to see him coming back, but he did not come. 30 minutes passed. My hands started to shake. I stood up and looked around, but I could not see him anywhere. 1 hour passed. My heart began to beat very fast. Fear slowly entered my heart. Then a police officer noticed me. He walked toward me and asked if I was okay. I told him everything. I showed him Michael's photo. I showed him my ticket. He listened carefully and said he would check. I waited again. This time, every second felt very long. Finally, he came back. His face was serious. He sat next to me and spoke softly. He told me that my son had boarded the plane. He told me the plane had already left, and he told me that my son went alone. I felt like the ground disappeared under my feet. I could not breathe. I could not think. My son left me. The pain was too much. I started crying, and I could not stop. The police officer stayed with me. His eyes were full of sympathy. He told me that some people forget love. Then he told me his name was John Anderson. He said he reminded me of his mother. He said she had passed away 5 years ago. Then he made a kind offer. He invited me to stay at his home. At first, I refused. I did not want to be a burden, but he insisted. So I went with him. His wife, Grace, welcomed me warmly. She spoke to me with kindness and respect. She prepared food for me and made me feel safe. That night, I cried quietly in my room. I missed my son. I missed my house. I missed my old life. But I also felt something new, kindness. The next morning, something happened that I did not know. The plane my son took crashed. There were no survivors. But John did not tell me. He knew I still loved my son. He knew the truth would destroy me, so he stayed silent. Days passed, then weeks passed. I stayed with John and Grace. They treated me like family. They helped me, cared for me, and respected me. Slowly, the pain in my heart became softer. One day, John asked me if I wanted to go back to my old house. I smiled gently. I told him I had already lost that house, but I had found a new home. Michael was gone, but life gave me another son, a son who chose kindness. Now I feel grateful, but sometimes when I sit quietly, I still ask myself, what would you do if you were in my place? If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to Learn English.